The rain whispered against the towering glass windows of the Reed Empire building, soft but persistent, like the world itself was trying to speak to him. Jonathan Reed sat alone in his corner office on the 42nd floor, his pen moving across another $1 million contract. His name, embossed in gold, on the plaque at his desk, carried weight in every boardroom in New York. He had built his empire from the ground up, stone by stone, decision by decision, sacrifice by sacrifice. But tonight, the victory felt hollow. The city lights below glittered like tiny galaxies, yet they failed to brighten the emptiness inside him. The clock read 10:43 p.m. His assistant had gone home hours ago. Only silence and rain kept him company. Then his phone buzzed. He almost ignored it. Just another call that could wait. Until morning. But something about the number caught his attention. It was from St. Mary's Hospital. He frowned and answered. Jonathan Reed speaking. A woman's voice came through, calm but hesitant. Mr. Reed, this is Nurse Patricia Williams from St. Mary's. I know this sounds unusual, but we found your number listed as Dad on a patient's phone. Her name is Lily Chen. She's been in a car accident. Jonathan froze, his pen hovering midair. Dad? He repeated. That's impossible. I don't have children. I understand, sir, the nurse said gently. But she's awake now, and she's asking for you. She says she needs to tell her father something important. Jonathan leaned back in his chair, staring at his reflection in the window. A man with sharp eyes, silver threads in his dark hair, and a loneliness that no wealth could disguise. He'd spent years mastering control, but tonight his pulse was unsteady. 20 minutes later, his black sedan pulled up to the emergency entrance of St. Mary's Hospital. The automatic doors opened with a hiss, releasing the scent of antiseptic and coffee. He stepped inside, feeling strangely out of place, in his tailored suit among exhausted families and quiet chaos. I'm here about Lily Chen, he told the receptionist. I received a call. Moments later, Nurse Patricia appeared. Mr. Reed, thank you for coming. Lily's stable, broken ribs, a concussion, some internal bruising, but she'll recover. She's lucky. Jonathan frowned. There must be a mistake. I've never met her. Patricia smiled faintly. Maybe so, but she's been talking about you for months. Always said her father would come for her one day. They walked down a quiet corridor. Outside room 314, Patricia paused. Sometimes people make families out of hope, she said softly. Lily's been working double shifts to care for her grandmother. She never mentioned any real relatives. Through the small window, Jonathan saw her. A young woman, mid-20s, pale against the white sheets, a bandage across her forehead. Machines beeped softly beside her. Patricia handed him a notebook. The doctor found this in her apron. It's filled with messages she wrote to someone called Dad. Jonathan opened it. The first line read, Dad, I saw you drive by again this morning. You always look so serious behind the wheel. I make the coffee extra strong, the way I think you'd like it. He frowned. How did she know that? He turned the page. You loosen your tie when you're thinking. You touch your left hand like it hurts sometimes. I wish I could ask why. She was right about everything. The tie, the scar, the habit no one noticed. He flipped through more pages, observations of his daily drives past a small diner, dreams of what a father's love might feel like. Each word cut deeper. How could she know all this? He whispered. Maybe you should ask her yourself, Patricia said. Jonathan entered the room. A frail old woman sat beside the bed, praying. She looked up and studied his face. You must be Jonathan, she said softly. Lily talks about you every day. He blinked. Ma'am, there's a mistake. I've never met your granddaughter. The old woman smiled. She started working at Murphy's Diner 6 months ago, just so she could wave at you every morning. She said you looked like a man who'd forgotten how to smile. Jonathan froze. He remembered that diner, the girl behind the counter who always waved. Mrs. Chen continued. She lost her parents when she was 10. I've raised her since, but she's always wondered what it would be like to have a father. Jonathan's heart tightened. Mrs. Chen handed him a folded paper. She wrote this for Father's Day. Said she'd give it to you when you finally came in. Dear Dad, I know we're strangers, but I believe family isn't always about blood. It's about choosing to care, even when you don't have to. He hadn't cried in 20 years, but now tears burned his eyes. "Tell me about her," he said. For hours, Mrs. Chen told him stories of Lily's kindness, her work at the diner, her time volunteering with sick children, her stubborn heart. When she left to rest, Jonathan stayed beside Lily. He opened the small box Mrs. Chen left. Inside was a silver keychain. "To Dad, thank you for showing me what strength looks like. Love, Lily." Below it was a date, the first day she'd seen him. Jonathan held the keychain, lost in thought. Hours passed before Lily stirred. Her eyelids fluttered open, her gaze softening when it found him. "Dad," she whispered. "You came." He exhaled shakily. "Lily, I read your notebook." She smiled faintly. "You always look so lonely. I thought if I called you Dad long enough in my prayers, one day you'd hear me." He took her hand. "I don't know what I've done to deserve that, but I want to be the man you believed I was." She squeezed his fingers gently. "Family isn't blood. It's who shows up." He smiled through tears. "Then I'm not going anywhere." 3 weeks later, morning sunlight poured through Murphy's diner. Jonathan sat at his booth, watching Lily, now healed, laugh and serve coffee. "Doctor says I can't lift heavy things," she grinned, "but I can still serve pie." He smiled. "You don't have to work here anymore. I told you, nursing school, full tuition." "I know," she said softly, "but this diner is home. And besides, Mrs. Patterson says my coffee keeps her alive." He laughed, a real laugh. Then he showed her his phone, a photo of a new garden at the hospital. "It's called the Lily Chen Healing Garden." Her eyes filled with tears. "You didn't have to—" "Yes, I did," he said. "Every father wants to make his daughter's dreams come true." She reached across the table and straightened his tie. "You still touch your left hand when you're nervous." He chuckled. "And you still make the strongest coffee in the city." They shared pie and laughter, and for the first time, Jonathan Reed, billionaire, businessman, orphan, felt truly rich. He turned the silver keychain in his hand. "I used to think strength meant never needing anyone," he said. "But you showed me it's the opposite. It's letting yourself be loved." Lily smiled. "Then I guess we both found what we were looking for." Outside, the city roared on. But inside Murphy's diner, a billionaire and a waitress sat together, not as strangers, but as father and daughter chosen by love, not blood. And in all the ways that mattered, they had always been family.